Plants native to New England. You probably won't be interested in growing skunk cabbage Simplocarpus foetidus in your native plant garden, but it's worth your while to learn how to identify this intriguing plant. The cabbage part of the name refers to the leaves. The skunk part of the name refers to the smell emitted by its spathe. This hooded structure is hidden under the leaves at the base of the plant. Another plant non-native that has a spathe is Amorphophallus konjac. Another New England native plant that sports a spathe is Jack in the pulpit Erythema triphyllum. Bloodroot Sanguinaria canadensis is one of the more distinctive wildflowers in New England, making identification easy. In growing zone 5 it flowers in April. Over time, it can form large colonies. This spring ephemeral is a great choice for shade gardens. New Englanders who love azaleas and rhododendrons will appreciate the fact that, yes, there are azaleas native to New England. Rhodora Azalea, Rhododendron canadense, is one of them, so you may want to grow it in your native plant garden. It tolerates boggy conditions, a fact to keep in mind if you're looking for a shrub to grow in a wet spot in your yard where nothing that you plant seems to survive. One common name for this native plant is misleading. Your guidebook may refer to Chimaphila maculata as spotted wintergreen. The species name, maculata, does, indeed, translate from the Latin as spotted. But a common name that is more befitting of its appearance is striped wintergreen. It is clear to any objective observer that, if anything, the leaf is noteworthy for its stripes, not spots. Those who grow native plants specifically to attract butterflies will want to grow common milkweed, Asclepias syriaca. The monarch butterfly loves its flowers. But many children are fascinated by its seed pods, which remind you of cucumbers. Phytolacca americana offers good size, purple berries, and reddish-pink stems. There's a lot to like about pokeweed. But don't grow it if children will be playing in your yard. The common name of interrupted fern may strike you funny at first. But there's a very good explanation behind the common name for the plant that botanists know as Osmunda claytoniana. Look at the dark leaflets. Those leaflets have spores on them. Ferns reproduce using spores rather than seeds, and are thus referred to as the plant's fertile leaflets. The light green leaflets, by contrast, are termed the sterile leaflets. Dutchman's Breeches Dicentra cucullaria is a spring ephemeral that closely resembles another bleeding heart Dicentra spectabilis relative, squirrel corn Dicentra canadensis. In fact, these two spring ephemerals are frequently seen growing together, since they prefer the same conditions, shade. To distinguish between them, remember that squirrel corn's flower looks more like the bloom of Dicentra exemia than does that of Dutchman's Breeches. Squirrel corn's bloom, with its two rounded lobes at the top of the flower, looks like an elongated heart shape. Dutchman's Breeches, by contrast, has two pointy protrusions, the trouser legs, at the top of the flower. Hepatica, Hepatica nobilis, is another spring ephemeral and another great choice for a shade garden. It is a compact plant yet, because of its abundance of flowers, quite showy. It's easy to grow and blooms for a long time. Mayapple, Podophyllum peltatum, another native that forms colonies, especially in the shade, is a fun plant to watch, but never more so than at this stage in its growth, when it is newly arisen from the earth in spring. One of the delights of growing American mandrake, which is another of its nicknames, is beholding this unfurling of the new leaf or leaves, which occurs in April. One leaf indicates sterility, two fertility. When you see a specimen with two leaves, that means it will bear a flower in that year. Here's a flower that almost anyone in New England would recognize, if not as a solitary plant, then at least when seen growing, as it usually does, in masses. Few, however, would be able to attach a name to it. Not a true marigold, Marsh Marigold Caltha palustris is a native spring ephemeral found growing in swamps and damp meadows in the wild. If you wish to grow it in the landscape, take advantage of this preference for moisture and grow it in a boggy or swampy area where many plants cannot thrive. For example, it's a good choice for the edge of a water garden. Bloom time is mid-spring to late spring. Grow it in full sun to partial shade. Some people remove wild violets from their lawns, considering them just common lawn weeds. but a growing number of people leave them alone, feeling lucky to have such lovely wildflowers gracing their otherwise uninteresting lawns. Viola sororia is a native plant in New England and flowers best in full sun. Many people esteem the ones with purple flowers as being the showiest. There are many misnomers in the plant world. Sweet fern, Comptonia peregrina, is one of them. It is not a true fern, although it has fern-like leaves. Rather, this New England native plant is a shrub that reaches 2 to 4 feet in height. It is commonly found in sunny, dry areas, for example, abandoned sites with sandy soil. Crush the leaves of sweet fern sometime and you'll be rewarded by its strong, pleasing fragrance. Along with its toughness, fragrance is its main selling point, since it isn't much to look at. Some nurseries do, however, carry sweet fern. Sheep laurel is frequently found growing in bogs. It can take partial shade. This native shrub, known botanically as Kalmia angustifolia, is also called lambkill. Early New England farmers no doubt discovered the hard way that it was poisonous to their livestock. You won't want to grow this plant if children will be playing in your yard. It blooms in June. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more interesting videos. And please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm.